These 6 issues about warming in sports should definitely know. Warm up in sport. How you will find the questions and answers that we believe are important for warm up. First of all, warm up is an important part of sports activities. All sports activities start with a warm-up activity. Include in the plans of athletes subject to warm up. I think this issue is not taken into account sufficiently for different reasons. You can make very positive contributions to your body even by just doing warm-up exercises. 1. What is warming? Before a competition or workout, warm up to achieve the optimum performance required by a competition or workout. Most importantly, warming up is the body's readiness to compete or work as a whole. First of all, you should consider the concept of warming, and the warming event must first be handled in 2 dimensions. These dimensions are general warming and local warming. The general warming up here is an active or passive warming of the whole body before a competition and training. Local warming is the use of active or passive methods that involve warming some novices during the rehabilitation process after a sports injury, or during the preparation period for training after rehabilitation. 2. What are the benefits of warming? Athletes look at warming up in 3 different situations based on their training status, their sporting age, their understanding of professionalism, and their level of performance. For some athletes, warm-up time refers to a relaxation period regardless of the training or training period at the start of the match. For some athletes, the warm-up is the most important and necessary part of training or competition, giving the warm-up the necessary importance with great care. Some athletes look at warming up like a phenomenon they have to do as part of their job before training or competing. With sufficient heating, both aerobic, oxygenated, energy production and anaerobic, oxygen-free, energy production affect positively. The more the muscle heats up, the more it can stretch, and the more quickly it can become novelized beyond that. With heating, the reaction time of nerves and muscles is shortened. The increased elasticity of the muscle as a result of warming allows for greater joint amplitudes, angle of movement. Movement of the joints is facilitated by warming up. In addition, warm-up can improve goal orientation, strokes, and coordination of movements. In general, it increases elements such as warm-up, endurance, speed, strength, splash and flexibility. At the same time, warming is one of the most important health factors in terms of warming. It minimizes muscle, ligament, and tendon injuries. When we look in general terms, prevention of sports injuries, increased performance is 2 important results for warming. At this point, some athletes realize the importance of warm-up, especially when injured without sufficient warm-up. This is an unpleasant experience here, but it costs the athlete and his team by the method of trial and error. 3. What are the methods of warming? When we look at sports literature, we encounter 2 kinds of warm-up methods. These are active and passive heating methods. Active warm-up method is physical activities before a training or competition. The passive warm-up method is the warm-up in which athletes who have just come out of rehab and are in rehab use a variety of tools before training. Various electrical physical therapy devices, baths, showers, jacuzzis, massage with other or various creams and other physical therapy methods are used in this passive heating. 4. How long should the warm-up period be? Warm-up time depends on the sport branch. When we look at the literature, The minimum values for this period are between 10 minutes and 30 minutes. Team sports and individual sports differ for this period. In addition, when determining the warm-up time, the environment, air temperature, time of competition or training should also be taken into account. The warm-up period covers 20 to 30% of the total training time. 5. What are the forms of warming? Forms of warming: informal and formal warming are divided into two. Informal warm-up: jog, straight running, calisthenics, culture physics, are not related to the branch. Formal warm-up covers movements specific to that sport. Throwing tourniquets in basketball, serving in volleyball, serving in tennis or playing squash, passing in football, rat in the middle, such movements are formal warm-up forms. 6. What should start heating with? Warming should be started with informal warming and continued with formal warming. There are two opinions for informal warming on this issue. First, cite informal that the first thing to do when starting to warm up with movements that are not specific to the branch is stretch exercises. The second opinion is that the jog should be taken before stretch. There is no clear explanation in the literature that we have scanned. Preference here varies depending on the coach's habit. As mentioned above, informal heating is then switched to formal heating, which is specific to that branch. The final phase of warming must consist of formal movements. The effects of formal movements specific to this branch on the organism can be summarized as follows. A. During sports activity, the blood flow and muscle temperature within the novices participating in the action are ensured to be physiologically optimal. B. Preparation for hand-eye coordination is provided for neuromuscular, nerve mechanisms used directly in the branch.